Good evening, everyone, and on this pleasant Friday night from West Jordan, Utah, we welcome you to KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports. And you are watching this special presentation of Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live Rewind presented by Extra Space Storage. As tonight, Game Night Live Rewind proud to present Copper Hills Senior Night as the Riverton Silverwolves enter Grizzly territory, trying to spoil the Copper Hills Grizzlies Senior Night party. And alongside my broadcast partner, Colton Potter, I'm Alexander Timolip. Colton, here we go. Last weekend before the final playoff push of the season, there is a lot at stake for both teams tonight.
Yeah, as we get closer to the state tournament, both of these teams want to solidify their places in the standings and hopefully move up in the standings to secure a better seed to prepare for the state tournament. A lot at stake for both these teams. Both need a win tonight.
Copper Hills stands at number 4 in the UHSAA RPI. They sit 0.05% ahead of Pleasant Grove, who's currently trailing right now at Westlake. Lost on Tuesday to American Fork, but they are ahead of Corner Canyon, who defeated the Thunder on Tuesday. The Grizzlies at good position to lock up an at-large bid into the 6A playoffs as at least the second-place team in their region. But on the other side for Riverton, they are sitting perilously close to the bottom 4 bubble, coming in at number 20. They need a win to get inside that top 20 and have a little bit safer position in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. This game's really big for them. They got to come out. They're the more desperate team, so they got to come out, play with a lot of energy early. There's a big crowd tonight for Copper Hills, but let's see if Riverton can come out with a lot of energy and get off to a fast start and maybe take the momentum early on.
And that's what Coach John Watkins told us before the game, Colton, is that they're focusing on playing defense, a lot more consistency, a lot earlier in the ball game. They're having a lot of trouble with that recently, but he said their first quarters are normally their best quarters of where they play so far.
Yeah, and it's a big key in this game is who gets off to the fast start, right? Who jumps out to a lead in the first quarter. If Copper Hills, if they get out to a big lead, they like to run and gun. They can extend that lead quickly. Riverton, they gotta make sure that they keep control of the pace, take care of the ball, get good shots, and they'll have a chance to win this game.
We are underway on this Copper Hills Senior Night. We'll remind you the game clock bug on our screen is unofficial. We'll try to keep it updated throughout the night. On this Senior Night, it is the Silverwolves who have the first possession. Here's Jackson Carricks into the corner to Logan Dunfield, and they'll swing it back out front. Jonas Stubler, who has the ball, is getting the start in place of Jared Carver. He airballs his first shot, and it rat-a-tats off McCoy Langston out of bounds. And so it will remain with Riverton.
In the last game, Riverton played on Tuesday. Jackson Carricks was held to 6 points versus West Jordan. He's their leading scorer in the season. It's big that they get him going early on. That is a good night tonight for Riverton.
And here is Carricks taking it out front. He'll put up the 3 and knocks it down. Right on cue, Colton Potter.
He stepped right into that shot in rhythm. You could tell he had confidence and nothing but net. That happens when you shoot a shot with confidence.
Copper Hills putting out 4 of their 7 seniors in the starting lineup tonight. Here's one of them, Quincy Hills. Matched up out front. And here's the other senior, Sorensen.
Riverton's playing in a 2-3 zone. The key to attacking the 2-3 zone is getting it into the short corner, the high post, and you can get a lot to kick out for 3 like that.
Out of bounds, Hymas couldn't control the offensive board. It'll go back to Riverton. 6 minutes, 43 seconds left here in the first half.
Ball movement's going to be important for Copper Hills. If they kind of just keep the ball on the perimeter, don't get the ball on the inside into the short corner, they're going to settle for a lot of contested shots. As they move the ball and work the ball inside and then kick it back out for open threes, they'll be able to get a lot better looks offensively.
Here's McKay Hostetter out front, who did not play in the first meeting back on January 11th. His first shot's too strong. He gets his own rebound. Into the corner he comes, back to Dunfield. Lost control of it, but got it back somehow, goes up strong, and reverses it up and in. And the Silverwolves off to a quick start here, 5-0. Here's Quincy Hills to Hymas in the high post. Back corner, McCoy, Langston, 3. Air ball right over the top of the rim. Here's the rebound by Carricks. Silverwolves running out in transition. Stolen away. 3-on-2. Moyer to the basket, fouled. And he will go to the line.
That's a good, strong take by Moore. As he got the ball on the pass up in transition, went right to the rim, drew the foul. Has a chance to go to the line to get Copper Hills on the board.
And he does so. Another one of the seniors in the lineup tonight, Quincy Hills, Nathan Sorensen, McCoy Langston, Kyson Hymas, Luke Moyer, the starting 5 for Copper Hills as Moyer goes 2 for 2. And it's 5-2 in favor of Riverton, who come into this game 5-14, 0-7 in region. Stubler short off the front of the rim, and McCoy Langston cleans it up. Here he comes in transition. Langston high post, Sorensen for 3. No good. And Dunfield comes down with the rebound. Long toss in the paint. Nice move up and under fake. Couldn't get the shot to fall. And the rebound to McCoy Langston. The team leader in rebounds this season. Hills for 3. Yes!
Copper Hills has shooters all over the court. Riverton in this 2-3 zone, they've got to know where the shooters are at all time. There's a great ball fake by Quincy Hills to get the defender to leave him, and he's able to hit the open 3.
Jonas Stubler, McKay Hostetter, Jackson Carricks, Logan Dunfield, and Levi McDougall, the 5 on the floor right now as Dunfield couldn't bank it in. Here comes Hills in transition. Hills to Moyer, down the lane. Too strong off the front of the rim, and the rebound is captured there by Jackson Carricks. Hostetter into the paint. And again, another rebound for Langston. That's already his 3rd board here in the first quarter. Cross court. Hymas. Back to Sorensen and back to Langston. Behind the back, Moyer, 17-footer, right side. Both sides off to a rocky start from the field. Here comes Jackson Carricks taking it strong to the goal.
That was a really good attack there by Carricks. He got the rebound, pushed in transition, saw a gap in the defense, attacked it, kept his eyes on the rim, ball high, and was able to finish through the contact.
7-5 in favor of the Silverwolves. Hymas kicks it out. Back to Quincy Hills. Langston, open look, 3-pointer. No good, and Dunfield is able to keep it in play for Carricks. Carricks will put on the brakes. Here comes Dunfield, right down Main Street. Offensive foul.
That time, Moore wasn't even in great position, but he put his body on the line, and Dunfield was just a little too out of control, lowered the shoulder. He initiated the contact, and so was able picked up the offensive foul there. Riverton, they've had a couple good looks, but they seemed a little rushed at the rim. They're able to slow down, go off 2 feet, stay balanced. They'll get some more of those layups to go.
3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Sorry for the glitch in our clock. We're going to start and reset it here on the next dead ball. The clock in the arena is under 3 minutes to go. Hills kicks it out. Sorensen down the baseline. His pass deflected and stolen away. And there's Jared Carver, who just checked into the game along with Zach Edwards and Stratton Johnson. Carricks, turnaround Jay. No. And we're going to get an offensive loose ball foul called against the Silverwolves.
Both of these teams so far are really pushing the pace. Like to see Riverton slow down a little bit on offense and move the ball a little bit to get the defense out of position, get better looks.
Here's a good look for Moyer in the low post. Rims out. And the rebound by Zach Edwards. And it's punched out of bounds by Kyson Hymas. 2:11 left here in the first quarter. Aiden Shepard, by the way, checked in at the last dead ball. Riverton sitting again at number 20 coming into this game in the UHSAA RPI. This will be the last weekend before the rankings are released for the last time on next Saturday, as that rebound is batted around to Kyson Hymas, who has numbers up the floor. Hymas drives right down the lane, can't get it to go. And here comes Jackson Carricks the other way. They show double, gets it over. Johnson wide open.
It's a great job by Carricks. He was pushing in transition, saw he didn't have numbers, slowed it down, was able to draw a double team and find a wide open shooter who was able to knock it down.
What a start here for the Silverwolves. They're up 10-5. We talked with John Watkins before the game that the Grizzlies' first quarters are normally their best quarter. Not the case right now, as a turnover as Carricks takes it away. Carver backs it out to Johnson, and they will reset from out front. Into the corner, wide open, McDougal. Over the top of the backboard it goes. Back to the Grizzlies. Check that, that was not McDougal that took that last shot. That was McKay Hostetter.
That's a great look for Riverton. You know, every shot's not going to fall down, but if they keep taking open threes, not forcing threes, driving to the paint, looking to kick out to open shooters who have their feet set, I think they'll be able to be very successful. So far, they've had a lot of open looks, and Copper Hills is really lucky that they're only down by 5.
Quincy Hills can hit the three. Shepard could not tip it home. It hung on the rim for what seemed like an eternity, and it's finally cleared by Zach Edwards. Carver puts on the brakes, stolen by McCoy Langston. 4 against 2 the other way. Langston to Whitehour.
That was a great pass by Langston. The defender never committed, and so he just took it as far as he could, was able to hand it off to Whitehour, who was able to lay it right in. That was a great transition there by Copper Hills.
Final 20 seconds. This will be the last possession of the first quarter. On this senior night from West Jordan, Utah, Alexander Tumulip and Colton Potter, if you're just joining us. Here's Carver. Jared Carver with 5. Carver into the paint. Can't pull the trigger. Now goes up. A lot of contact, no call, and that's the end of the first period. So Colton, talk with John Watkins about this. First quarter was their best quarter. Wasn't right there.
No, I thought that they had good looks on offense, kind of rushed some, but they got to be better on the defensive end. Riverton had basically whatever they wanted on offense for the most part, got to the rim, had open threes. We'll see what adjustments the coaches make heading into the second quarter.
We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Copper Hills basketball. Game Night Live Rewind presented by Extra Space Storage.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time. Courses on your time. Graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of VU.
Welcome back to Copper Hills High School. Alexander Tumulip and Colton Potter for Copper Hills basketball and Game Night Live Rewind. And you are watching this special presentation of Copper Hills Senior Night. 10-7 our score between Riverton and Copper Hills. There is nothing like this atmosphere anywhere you find it on a senior night like this. Langston, no, tip up, Shepard trying to fight for it, and it's taken there by Riverton.
It was a good look, though. I think more times than not, Copper Hills would love to get McCoy Langston a wide open 3. So they just got to keep attacking the zone offense. Those shots will start to fall.
Count the basket and the contact for Mitch Applegate, who just checked into the ball game. And it's a 5-point lead here for Riverton. Jared Carver, McKay Hostetter, Zach Edwards, Levi McDougall and Applegate on the floor right now for the Silverwolves. Moyer in the high post, back to the corner, Whitehour. And a bad pass, but it somehow got through to Moyer, but who to go off of? The official looks at the umpire and says, I got it off the black shirts, and that's what he agrees. Hymas checks back in.
That was a risky pass. I'm not really sure how it even got through, but I do like the idea of going inside. A lot of times when teams play 2-3 zones, the offense will settle for a lot of threes, which is exactly what the defense wants them to do. Work the ball inside, and you can get good looks just like Luke Moyer had right there.
And that's Moyer's first field goal since early in the first quarter. It's a 12-9 game in favor of Riverton. Carver. Trapped, back out, it's McDougall. McDougall into the low block against the much bigger Moyer. Drives, we're gonna get a foul. And that's gonna be called against McCoy Langston. 6:53 on our clock. There's about a second delay, so we'll call it good. Shepard, Whitehour, Langston, Hymas, and Moyer, the 5 on the floor right now for Copper Hills as we start the second. Here's Applegate. Carver tries it again. Left that one short this time, and Langston collects the board. That's his 5th rebound already. Hymas dribbles into the high post, got it stripped. Whitehour goes strong. Couldn't finish it, and the rebound is snatched up by Levi McDougall on the long toss ahead on the outlet. Applegate brings it back, and they will reset. McDougall. Back out to Applegate. Swing to Carver. Well defended by Whitehour. Back it goes to McDougall. And then Carver again. Lob on the block. And an air ball put up there by Zach Edwards.
That was much better defense by Copper Hills. That's probably the best defensive possession they've had so far this entire game. All 5 played great team defense and was able to force an errant shot.
If you couldn't tell by the screams, McCoy Langston's family liked that one. They're sitting right in front of us as Langston's finally on the board with 5.5 to go, and it's back to a 1-point game again. Bounce pass goes out of bounds. It will go back to Copper Hills. Coming into the game now is Justin Rich. And Jonas Stubler comes back in as well. Moyer out, Hymas out opposite. Sorensen and Shepard in now.
Riverton does a lot of, on offense, they do a lot of dribble drive action, but you got to have somewhere to go when you're driving the ball. You can't drive into trouble and not have a place to pass the ball, and they've been doing that the last couple possessions, just driving kind of just to drive. I think moving the ball will benefit them greatly moving forward.
And that will benefit them as well, too. They crashed the offensive glass like Kyson Hymas just did, and the Grizzlies have their first lead of the game, 13-12.
That's another thing with the 2-3 zone. It can be challenging to rebound at times out of the 2-3 zone because you got to match up, find a man, while those shots in the air, and then go get the ball. Riverton's got to block out really well, otherwise Copper Hills is going to have a huge advantage in this game.
Here comes McCoy Langston back the other way, off the miss. Spins, kicks it out, Shepard. Somehow that pass got through to Langston, spins in the low block, and we're going to get a foul on a reach. That's going to be called against Mitch Applegate, his first, team 4th. No shot on the play. And senior for senior sub as McCoy Langston out and Quincy Hills comes in. Hymas in the low block off the inbound, counted and the contact!
That was a great pass by Quincy Hills to be able to fit that in between 2 defenders, and a great finish by Hymas to draw the contact, get an and one and goes to the line for a chance to convert the three-point play.
He does not do so. Whitehour, the offensive board, but he does draw the foul. Well, what did we just talk about, Colton, right on cue? We talked about how Riverton had to crash the offense or clean up the defensive glass. There's another example of how Copper Hills is getting after it early on the boards.
Yeah, I think that's an area where Copper Hills definitely has a big advantage. They got a size advantage. They got a lot of good athletes like McCoy Langston, Luke Moyer, and at the line Logan Whitehour. They all can crash the rim, get second and third chances for Copper Hills. It's an area of the game Riverton definitely has to clean up moving forward.
Whitehour goes 1 for 2. Applegate out, McDougal back in. 4 1/4 minutes to go here in the first half. Copper Hills has outscored Riverton 9-2 here in this second quarter. Hostetter gets the screen, now matched up against Hymas. Outside, Carrick's long three, and knocks it down.
He's gone off to a really good start. He has 8 points, an assist, a bunch of rebounds. He's played really, really well so far. It's a big reason that Riverton's still in this game.
Sorensen can't answer back. The long rebound chased down. It's a 2-on-1, and Hostetter gets it stripped away by Sorensen. What hustle by the senior. And they'll give it to the point guard. They call Swaggy Q Quincy Hills.
It looks like Riverton switched to man-to-man here. They switch out of the zone.
Boy, Shepard had a couple opportunities but couldn't put it back in. And here comes Jonas Stubler. McDougal lost it out of bounds. Grizzly ball.
And again, that's another example of Riverton driving the ball with really nowhere to go. They got to slow down, take what the defense gives them, not try to force things, and they'll get better looks at the ball or at the basket, and they have to take care of the ball. Otherwise, Copper Hills is going to start to run away with this.
2:53 left here in the second quarter. Hills hands off to Sorensen. The regular starting five, Sands, McCoy Langston's on the floor right now. Swaggy Q, another three. Moyer couldn't chase down the long rebound. And here comes Jackson Carricks. Doubled up in the post, back to the corner, Hostetter. And they'll reset. Stubler drives, kicks it out, stolen by Sorensen, and he's fouled by Logan Dunfield to stop the fast break. And that puts Riverton over the limit, and the Grizzlies will be shooting free throws the rest of the way.
And again, that's an example of great team defense from Copper Hills. A lot better this quarter than last quarter. Quincy Hills, he gambled, wasn't able to get the steal, but Nathan Sorensen with another great defensive play to get his second steal of the quarter, and he's at the line, chance to hit some free throws.
Hits the first, 17-15 in favor of Copper Hills. Langston set to check back in. He'll come in if Sorensen makes the free throw, which he cannot. Moyer, though, gets the offensive rebound, and Hymas could not control the pass on the baseline. Hostetter trying to dribble through a whole bunch of traffic. It's stolen away. Hymas to the basket. This the largest lead for the Grizzlies with 2 minutes left here in the first half.
I think these are really, really big 2 minutes for Riverton. They want to make sure that they close this gap, don't let Copper Hills take all the momentum into the break, grow their league, and that's a great start right there.
Oh, yes, that was. What a great slip pass to Zach Edwards from McKay Hostetter, and it's back to a 2-point game.
And that was really good ball movement and great execution of the pick and roll. See if they can continue to get good ball movement and attack the paint when there's gaps. That's something I'd like to see them do more as we go on in this game.
Moyer has an open lane. 21-17. We're approaching 1 minute to go. There's about a 4-second delay between our clock and the arena clock. Carricks again. And that hit off the back stanchion. Out of bounds. It will go back to Copper Hills. Langston back in. And
Carricks has
out.
definitely proven that he's able to hit that shot. He's hit 2 in the game. But I think with this, at this point in the game, getting the ball movement, moving the ball side to side, that's going to get you better looks than a step-back three-pointer.
Here's Stubler with it. Coming up through the traffic. Copper Hills has their full starting 5 back on the floor. Into the paint. McDougal looking for a cutter. Carricks looking to Stubler. Ooh. Could not get it to go, but he did draw the foul. What a shot. Falling away from the basket, and Jonas Stubler will head to the line for what I believe, Colton, is going to be just the 3rd and 4th free throws of the half here for the Silverwolves.
Yeah, that was a really tough pass by Carricks. Great catch there by Stubler, and wasn't able to finish, but a good job drawing the foul, and gets to go to the line to add a chance to hit 2 free throws.
Stubler goes 1 for 2, but going back up and getting it blocked was Edwards by Kyson Hymas.
Hymas has had a really good half. He's not a guy who's going to score a ton of points, but he does a really good job for Copper Hills. The hustle plays, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, block shots, all of those things. He does a great job helping Copper Hills get more possessions and taking possessions away from the opponent.
Quincy Hills to McCoy Langston. Clock down to 4, to 3. Sorensen, Moyer with 1. Got it ripped out of his hands. That's it for the first 16 minutes. A physical, gritty first half. Kind of what you expect in a region game like this.
Absolutely. I thought Riverton did, for the most part, a really great job of limiting Copper Hills' possessions. Limiting them to get not great shots like they're used to. Let's see what adjustments they make at halftime to be able to attack the zone better, and Riverton on offense to get better looks as well.
We've enjoyed it so far. As we head to the break, we'd like to remind you that KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports is presented all season long by WGU. You can make 2022 the year of you when you apply for a $2,500 scholarship that will allow you to finish your degree on your own pace. Online, accredited, and affordable, that's WGU. Your score at the half is Copper Hills 21, Riverton 18. When you come back on the other side of the break, halftime stats, thoughts, and the beginning of the 3rd quarter. You're watching this special presentation of Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Extra Space Storage. Welcome back to Copper Hills High School. Alexander Timolip and Colton Potter ready for the second half of this special presentation of Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Extra Space Storage, as KSL Game Night Live Rewind is proud to present Copper Hills Senior Night. But Colton, before we get to the stats and everything, I got a question. You ever have that feeling when you just need a change of scenery from your old job and you just want a different place to work and you're just tired of the same thing every day?
Absolutely. I think everyone has that at some point.
Well, if you do, if you're looking for that change, you can come work for one of the best employers in Utah, as Extra Space Storage is growing its corporate headquarters over in Salt Lake City. And positions are available in a wide range of roles, including accounting, marketing, real estate, finance, call center, and information technology. Flexible and remote work opportunities are available. You can apply today at careers.extraspace.com. Extra Space Storage, proud sponsor of Copper Hills basketball on Game Night Live Rewind. So now, Colton, now that we're past that, for the folks at home, we don't actually want to change our jobs just for the sake of disclosure. We don't actually want to change our jobs. First half was pretty much what we talked about in the pregame. It was one desperate team playing like a desperate team, and Copper Hills thus far has responded. But give credit to the Silverwolves for staying in it.
Absolutely. They've been on the attack most of the that first half. They drove, tried to get to the rim a lot. They didn't draw a lot of fouls, which is something they usually do. I'd like to see them in the second half slow down on offense a little bit. Stay on the attack, but don't force it. Take what the defense gives you. For Copper Hills, Luke Moyer had a great half. I'd like to see him continue, and they need to get McCoy Langston going and Quincy Hills going offensively. But it's important for them to keep up the team defense that they did in the second quarter, force a lot of turnovers, bad shots. It's going to be a fun second half.
And it will be a second half that starts with the Silverwolves in possession. As Jonas Stubler takes the inbound. The starting fives for both sides on the floor right now. Stubler, McDougal, Hostetter, Carricks, and Zach Edwards. Back out it comes to Jackson Carricks. Back out. Hostetter for three. No. Edwards, the offensive board, and the putback.
The offensive glass is also going to be a big key in the second half. Copper Hills dominated the offensive glass, second chance points in the first half, and it's kind of what allowed them to take a lead. Let's see if Riverton can return the favor here in the second half.
Luke Moyer returning the favor on the other end. And the Grizzlies respond. It's 23-20 as we're just underway here in the third. Oh, Hymas almost took that away. Stubler got it back, though. And now here's McDougal. Hostetter drives, jump stop, and a foul called on Nathan Sorensen.
Yeah, Sorensen was in good position there until he reached his hand in, and that's what caused the foul there. But so far, Riverton's kept the same game plan. They're going to move the ball until they get an opportunity to drive a gap and look to either get to the rim and finish or kick it out for a three.
I'd like to remind you that you can follow KSL Game Night Live Rewind on social media all season long. On Twitter and Instagram, you can find them at GNL Rewind, and you can also follow them on Facebook. You can also subscribe to the official YouTube channel where this game is being aired tonight. High School Rewind on YouTube. 1 for 2 there for McKay Hostetter, and now here comes Hills. Copper Hills' largest lead has been 6. Moyer, 13-footer. Too strong. Hymas goes up, gets the offensive rebound inside. Moyer got it ripped away, but he got the foul.
And they call it a shooting foul, so he has a chance to go to the line to hit 2 shots.
Moyer, one of the 7 seniors honored before the game, said in his senior introduction as he was coming out here onto the floor, he wanted to be a music producer there, Colton.
Yeah, you don't hear that one too often. That's pretty cool. Hopefully that works out for him.
You just don't know what the new generation has as far as talents are concerned these days, as he hits both 25-21.
Moyer's had a great game so far. He's been really aggressive. He's kind of a mismatch. Riverton doesn't really necessarily have anyone. It's a great defensive stopper for him, and the fact they're in the 2-3 zone, he gets lots of opportunities in the high post and short corner to attack, and he's done a great job of doing that so far.
Stubler misses the 3. Moyer there for the rebound. Lobs it ahead for Hymas. Ahead of the pack. Drives all the way to the basket. Couldn't finish over the top of McKay Hostetter. And Carricks with the rebound.
Great defense by Hostetter to just contest without fouling. It's one of the hardest things to do in basketball. Oftentimes you see players, they want to go up and try to block a shot as Riverton takes a timeout here, but really good job by Hostetter, just staying vertical, keeping his arms straight up, and trying to make Hymas finish over top of him.
And it's a 30-second timeout by Skylar Wilson, so we'll keep it here on the air here. As take a look over at the Copper Hills student section tonight, of course, celebrating American Night, of course, with the Winter Olympics going on. Colton, I don't know, have you been able to watch any of the Winter Olympics? I haven't so far.
Yeah, I haven't watched too much. Curling's a favorite of mine.
There you go.
And I get big into curling.
You know, that's the truth too. I actually got into it when I was on a trip up to north of the border because my parents and I normally go up there for some parts of the year. It's a fun sport. I'd like to try it.
Yeah, I'd love to try it sometime. Ice skating, skiing, none of that is kind of my cup of tea. I'm a big basketball guy, so I'm happy to be here to watch basketball tonight.
Yeah, I think we can both agree on that one. We can wait for the Summer Olympics next 2 years from now as Stubler can hit the three and Sorensen cleans up the offensive glass. And now here comes Quincy Hills. Hills just holding out front against McKay Hostetter. Now here's Sorensen coming off the baseline.
Copper Hills is usually a team that likes to push the ball up the court. They'll oftentimes take a lot of quick shots, and tonight, though, they've been very methodical for the most part offensively, and they've gotten a lot of good looks as a result, just like McCoy Langston did right there.
What a shot by Langston, falling away off the key. And this matches the largest Copper Hills advantage tonight. Hostetter answers back. Check it, it's Carrick's, excuse me. What a big shot there for the young man. And it's back to a three-point game again.
And Carrick's has been huge for Riverton tonight. That's his third three of the game. He's had a bunch of assists as well. If Riverton's going to get the job done, I think it's going to be largely because of Jackson Carrick's tonight.
Quincy Hills draws the foul on the other end. Foul is charged to Jonas Stubler on the hand check.
That's something I'd like to see Quincy Hills do more against the zone, is after the ball gets reversed back to him, instead of reversing it, drive the gaps. Make the defense collapse on him. He's such a good passer and he's such a good athlete. He has the ability to get to the rim and kick out if they collapse on him. I'd like to see him do that a little bit more the rest of this game.
Oh my goodness, Quincy Hills! Just simply disgusting on that drive, my word!
Yeah, he just showed you how good his handles are, how quick and athletic he is. He's able to get to the rim very quickly. He doesn't need a lot of space, and he's a great finisher as well.
How about that off the friendly roll? As Jared Carver gets his first field goal, back to a three-point game again.
And Riverton's they're kind of just sticking around here. Kind of feels like Copper Hills is in control of this game, but every time you look at the score, it's closer than it feels.
Sorensen can't answer back, and the rebound by Stratton Johnson. Here comes Carver. Oh, wow. Went right past Quincy Hills, but didn't take it all the way in. But Carrick says, all right, fine, you won't do it, I'll do it. And he draws the foul. So I guess that was Carver's way of saying, all right, Swaggy Q, you want to do that to me? I'll do it to you too.
Yeah, you got to love the little back and forth that happens in basketball, the mini games, if you will, within the game.
Carricks hits the free throw. It's 29-27 in favor of Copper Hills. Shepard comes back in for the Grizzlies.
I just really like watching Carrick's play. He's always on the attack. He's always the aggressor. He's hit 3 threes. He's had some really nice assists, some great defensive plays. He's kind of done everything for Riverton tonight, and has a lot of energy, communicates well. He's just all around a great basketball player.
Hill swings across court into the corner. Kyson Hymas. 3 minutes left here in the third. Carrick has 11 points to lead the Silverwolves. Into the high post, Moyer. Turns, step through.
And that's where Copper Hills definitely has the biggest advantage in this game, is inside with Luke Moyer. As they continue to move the ball around the perimeter, they have opportunities to drive, and Riverton's done a good job for the most part cutting those drives off, but Luke Moyer has been essentially unstoppable in the paint tonight.
And that pass is stolen away. Hymas ahead of the pack. So we've been singing the praises of Jackson Carricks, and there he commits the turnover.
And Hymas was yelling he got hit in the head. Yeah, I wanted an and one there, and same with Coach Watkins. But just a great play by Hymas to, attack the rim, finish strong through the contact.
Jared Carver going strong through the contact. 4 off the bench for Jared Carver, and it's back again to a 3-point game.
Yeah, every time you think Copper Hills is about to kind of take control, Riverton comes right back.
That time the answer came from the captain, McCoy Langston.
Yeah, eventually, if you leave him open, he's gonna start hitting those. He's too good of a shooter. You got to know where he is at all times if you're Riverton.
Great pass inside on the pick and roll. They just keep trading punches. 36-32. Riverton hanging around here in this third quarter.
This is the best both of these offenses have looked in this game.
Langston again.
That's just simply too much room, Alex. You can't give that much room to McCoy Langston. You got to know where he is at all times.
Johnson can't answer back. Fight for the rebound. Moyer has it. And here comes Langston again. Under 1 minute to play. Moyer, high post, drives, spins. No foul.
That was a very, very good move by Moyer. He caught it at the elbow. One dribble, and with the drop step was able to get to his left hand. I wasn't able to finish, but a really, really decisive, quick move. And that's what you want to see out of your big men. Quick, decisive moves and either finish or draw a foul, and he was able to do that.
Moyer to the line. He hits the first. Like to remind you, KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports is presented tonight by WGU. WGU is online, accredited, and affordable. We're also sponsored in part by Heidemann & Associates. A free consultation is available for all Game Night Live Rewind viewers, courtesy of Heidemann & Associates. You can find them online at utah.org, or utah.laws. Moyer goes 2 for 2. Micah Nordgren, Miles Grover check in for the first time. 2 more of the 7 seniors. This is the largest lead the Grizzlies have had all night. It's 9. Carver away from the screen, drives to the paint, gets there, blocked by Hymas!
He said, give me that, send it back. See if Riverton can get a good shot, or they got to get a good look here to end the quarter.
Last shot here for the Silverwolves. In the block, Edwards looking. Gets it back. Carver for 3. No. Hymas the rebound. He's not going to get the shot off. That's the end of the third quarter as Copper Hills outscores the Grizzlies 20-13 in the third quarter. And now, Colton, the question is, can they keep this up for the fourth?
Yeah, Riverton, they're going to have to make a run here at the start of the quarter. The first 2 or 3 minutes of the fourth quarter are going to be huge. It's going to really, oftentimes, it's the deciding factor in the game, right? It's a 9-point game. Can Copper Hills grow the lead, or can Riverton shrink it? We'll see as we start the fourth quarter.
We'll be back. Welcome back to Copper Hills High School for Copper Hills Basketball and Game Night Live Rewind, presented by Extra Space Storage. And this special presentation of KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports is presented by Heidemann & Associates and WGU. On this special senior night here at Copper Hills High School, the Grizzlies have it to start the final period. Leading by 9, their largest lead of the game. Hills, Sorensen, Whitehour, Nordgren, and Hymas on the floor right now for the Grizzlies. Hills behind the back. Sorensen. It looks like they're in a 1-3-1 now, or a 3-2. It looks like they're, Colton.
Yeah, I think it's still a 2-3. It's just kind of gets inverted because Copper Hills has 3 along the top of the key, but it's basically just a hybrid zone defense, a matchup zone defense. And really good defense there by Riverton. Copper Hills never really had any good look until that one right there at the end, and they were able to get the stop.
Oh, great pass, but Carver couldn't fiddle it through the traffic. He'll do it himself. Can't get it to go. Hymas the rebound. Copper Hills with it in transition. Hills gets it blocked, and out of bounds it goes. And they're going to say it went off a Hills hand last. And John Watkins is appealing to the official, saying that went off of Riverton, didn't it?
Yeah, the home crowd definitely did not like that call as the officials get together to discuss. And it looks like they got together, corrected the call. It's always good to see officials do that. Officials aren't perfect. They make mistakes. It's good to get together, make sure you get the right call, and get back to playing.
And it always leaves someone unhappy, as Skylar Wilson was looking over at the official saying, what gives? That's the downside. Nordgren out to Whitehour in the corner. And looks like they're back in that 2-3 zone again. Langston in the post, kicks it in the... Looked like it was trying to get it to Shepard, got it to Whitehour instead. And they'll reset from out front. Hills behind the back. Goes right inside, Logan Whitehour! There goes that swaggy Q swerving again! And a timeout is signaled for by Skylar Wilson.
Quincy Hills just showcased all the skills that he has. The behind the back, step back, drive the lane, no look pass for the dump down layup. Just incredible athleticism and skills there by Quincy Hills.
We'll be back after this word from WGU on Game Night Live Rewind.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of VU.
Man, Colton, there's nothing like this atmosphere, is there?
No, it's awesome. You got to love high school basketball, especially on a Friday night. It's electric in here.
Colton Potter and Alexander Timolip with you here for Copper Hills basketball presented by Extra Space Self Storage. The Grizzlies enjoying their largest lead of the night, 43-32 over the Riverton Silverwolves. We want to remind you, coming up at the conclusion of tonight's game, Colton and I will be selecting our choice, or is it choices, for Heidemann and Associates players of the game? Maybe, who knows? But that's coming up at the conclusion of the fourth quarter.
Just like we talked about at the end of the fourth quarter, the first few minutes of the fourth quarter are huge. Riverton hasn't really got anything going, and Copper Hills is taking control of this game. Riverton has to respond, and let's see what they can do defensively and offensively to get themselves back in this game.
Langston got it stripped. And on the continuation, a foul is called against McKay Hostetter, but not in the act of shooting.
That's twice in this game where Riverton's done a great job defensively, sliding, staying in front, and then at the last second, reaching their hands and getting greedy and drawing a foul. Just play disciplined defense, and that would have been a turnover. He had nowhere to go with the ball.
Well, Luke Moyer certainly had somewhere to go with the ball. He was going right for the basket, and the lead continues to balloon. This is a 13-point lead for the Copper Hills Grizzlies. The Silverwolves put up a good fight early, but time's running out. Dunfield in the post. Stolen by Langston. What a night the senior captain has had. And he'll hand it off, Hymas will, to the other senior, Quincy Hills. Matched up out front against Jackson Carricks. Boyer, nice cut to the basket, and there's Langston again. Count it, and one.
That was a nice little set right there by Copper Hills. Riverton switched a man, and they threw it into the high post of Moyer. It just turned and hit Langston on that backdoor cut. He was able to get the and one.
Langston completes the three-point play, much to the delight of his family, who's sitting right in front of us. With 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter, this is now a 16-point game. Hostetter out front, gives it over to McDougal. Jonas Stubler off the screen, and a reach-in foul, and the high post is called. And it's going to be charged to Kyson Hymas. If I get my count right, I believe that's Kyson Hymas' second personal foul. It'll send Jonas Stubler to the free throw line. And he cannot at the first. More on the Captain McCoy Langston there, Colton. Heard in the introduction that he will go out and serve his mission, and he will go on to play college basketball.
Yeah, it's tough to do that, and you love to see guys who are committed and willing to make the sacrifice to go serve a mission and go back to come back and play basketball. Always love to see high school, they're only 18 years old, 17-year-olds making that decision to do that. It's pretty awesome.
He's not the only one, of course. Farmington's Colin Chandler will do the same. As McCoy Langston try to put the exclamation point on his night. Rims out the three. Johnson for three. No. Hymas the rebound. And the Grizzlies trying to push. And he leaves Stratton Johnson in his weight to find Moyer, too strong. And Hostetter with the rebound on the leak out. Here's Johnson inside. Hostetter or Carricks gets there, and it's blocked by Hymas.
Listen to this crowd. You always love to see a player like Kyson Hymas, who just plays so hard. He's not always the guy who's getting all the points and all the attention, but man, he plays so hard, and you love to see a player get a crowd reaction like that from a block shot.
A hat trick of blocks for Kyson Hymas. That's his third one, and his second one on Jackson Carricks tonight. Moyer in the high post, 15-footer. Off the mark, and the rebound by Jackson Carricks. And here comes Jonas Stubler.
From the logo.
Well, you got to try something in this situation. That got a rise out of the Copper Hills student section for sure. Kyson Hymas has had Jackson Carricks' number.
With 3 minutes left, up 15. If you're Copper Hills, you just want to move the ball. You don't need to take any risks. You don't need to force anything. If you get wide open shots, hit them. Otherwise, that's the last thing that they want to have happen there.
Wow, Kyson Hymas almost got the steal. Johnson couldn't get it to fall. And then meanwhile, a foul ends that scrambly sequence on the other end. Luke Moyer called for the foul. It was not a shooting foul. Whitehour will come in for Quincy Hills. And on the opposite side, Levi McDougal will check in to replace McKay Hostetter, who has just been taken out of his rhythm all night by this Copper Hills defense here, Colton.
Yeah, on offense for Riverton, it's basically been Jackson Carricks and not a whole lot else. 2 minutes left. They're going to have to start kind of pressing the issue here. And both offensively and defensively trying to cut this deficit and make it a little more manageable, make a run here the last couple minutes.
Almost a takeaway there by McCoy Langston into the post. Johnson looked like it kicked off the foot of Nathan Sorensen. It's out of bounds off him, and it'll stay here. Copper Hills has one more home game. They'll play the big one. Number 1 Bingham coming to town on Tuesday. And what could be another important game, Colton, for seeding in the state playoffs coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, at this point of the season, all these games are big, especially like a team like Copper Hills is basically locked into the state tournament, but you want to have momentum and be playing your best basketball heading into the tournament. It's important that they, finish this one strong, play well Tuesday, and finish the season strong as well.
The Miners handed Copper Hills their worst loss of the season back on February the 1st. 78-55 the result was then. As a takeaway here for Stratton Johnson. Goes in, blocked again by Hymas. And that, I believe, is going to be on the follow-up against Luke Moyer. And that, I believe, is going to put Stratton Johnson at the free throw line. The crowd thought it was on Hymas. It's not. And Johnson sinks the first. Meanwhile, Riverton will face Harriman on Tuesday, and then they'll close out their season with Mountain Ridge. Or they're going to close out their season with, I just lost my notes here. Well, that's not something you want to have happen, Colton, down the stretch of this game, for sure. Here's Quincy Hills, wraparound, Hymas to Langston. Spins back out. Here's Shepard again. And Hills will reset.
And again, 11-point lead. The worst thing that Copper Hills could do right now is force things and turn the ball over. Just move the ball. If you have a layup, take it. Otherwise, just control the ball and don't turn it over, and they'll walk out of here with a win.
Approaching 1 minute to go here in the final period as a foul is finally called with 1:02.
Still got one to give, so not quite in the one in the bonus yet.
Sorensen will sub back in, and that means most of the 7 seniors are on the floor now for Copper Hills. Quincy Hills kicks it out, and Sorensen will just dribble it back out beyond the 35-foot line. That pass is nearly stolen away as Hills slings it to Moyer. Dagger! Another bucket there makes it a 50-39 game. And a foul called with 21 and 7/10 seconds left in the game. And that will put the senior Quincy Hills at the line. And that will bring on the final 2 seniors for Copper Hills. Grover, Nordgren in, Sorensen, Moyer out.
You always like to see, the seniors who maybe don't get as many minutes throughout the season, but just as important a part of the team, play hard in practice. A lot of times they're good locker room and morale guys. You love to see them get minutes on senior night and honored. They deserve it just as much as any of the other seniors.
1 for 2 at the line. 51-39. Quincy Hills went 1 for 2 on that one. McDougal drives, can't get it to go. Rich goes back up, count it, and 1. With 10.5 seconds left here in the game. So as I'm pulling this up, Riverton will play at home their senior night Tuesday next week against Mountain Ridge. And then they will play their final game at Harriman next Friday. And meanwhile, the captains, Langston and Hills, both depart for the final time.
And get a standing ovation that they deserve. Both of them played great games tonight, especially in the second half. Really took control of the game with when Riverton kept it close. Great performance by both teams, but a great team win on senior night by Copper Hills.
Let's hear it one more time, Copper Hills. Final score 51-41. Copper Hills defeats Riverton as the Grizzlies move now to 15-5, 6-2 in region play. Riverton remains winless, 0-8, 5-15 in region play. Colton, final thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Copper Hills, it wasn't their best offensive game overall, but they did a really good job of withstanding an early run by Riverton, responded well, and overall, it was a great performance by the seniors. You always like to see your seniors go out on top on senior night, and especially Luke Moyer, McCoy Langston, Quincy Hills, they put on a show tonight. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Colton, back home in Hawaii, the broadcasters on Spectrum Sports have a tradition of naming the seniors the most outstanding players of the game. So why don't we do that? Tonight's Rideman and Associates Players of the Game, the 7 Copper Hills seniors.
And very well deserved, not just for tonight's play, but their play all season, their work in the off season. It's always good to see it play off, and you know they're 15-5 heading into the last couple games of the season. See if they can win a couple more and maybe make a run in the state tournament.
And we will be there. We will be there for all the state tournament action as the road to Provo begins in earnest next week. Well, Colton, that was fun. It's always fun to be here on senior night, and a good night if you're a Grizzlies fan.
It's always a good night when you get a win.
Want to thank our entire crew for their tireless work all night long, bringing you this broadcast. Vince Francis, our friend, back in the studio, and of course Mike Christensen, our cameraman, here on the podium with us at Copper Hills. And for my broadcast partner, Colton Potter, I'm Alexander Timolip. You have been watching this presentation of KSL Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of high school sports. This has been a special presentation of Copper Hills Basketball Game Night Live Rewind presented by Extra Space Self-Storage. The final score, Copper Hills 51, Riverton 41. Until we meet again, malama pono ke kahi, ike kahi. Take care of one another, everyone. Good night.